I started out with the association as an advisor, actually, bringing my students to the conference. I was at the first national conference, and provided some feedback based on my students' experience. And then got connected with Butch about how to improve the conference and how to make the association better. And over the course of the last 5 years, I've spent time investing. Joined the presentation team about 3 years ago and began presenting workshops across the country at the regional conferences and then at the national conference. And I still do some advising for student government on my campus, but now I'm in a lesser role there and more focused on helping other student governments across the country. Workshop on conflict resolution skills, and it's Ready to Rumble is the title of the workshop, and it's focused mainly on what are those skills and techniques it takes to engage in successful conflict. Then I have expanded that to a second workshop on knowing when and how to call someone out, and confrontation techniques, because that I think is one of the most difficult challenges internal to an association that our student leaders and student advisors struggle with is how do we engage in a successful confrontation that the person that we're confronting isn't threatened by what's happening and that they grow and learn as a byproduct of that. And then I do a workshop of From Vision to Reality, which is focused on how student governments can have great plans, but unless they focus on techniques to refine the execution of those plans, then they don't typically go anywhere. And I have a session that's for advisors only on adapting advising style to your student government's needs. And so looking at, from a developmental approach, where's the student government at? What do they need? How do I as an advisor need to adjust to make sure that I'm meeting them where they are versus settling into a comfortable style? And then also do a workshop on building rapport with your student government leaders that again is geared towards advisors and how they function with creating new dynamics with new student leaders during transition. I have a workshop on transitioning because that has a tendency to be the area that a lot of our student governments just struggle with. Transition plans change year to year, and while the membership is certainly expected to change year to year, we need to have good processes in place to help with the transition. Student government advisors, I'll speak to them first. The reality is that no one else in the country but another student government advisor knows the difficulty of the politics of the student government advisors negotiating on their campus, how the ebb and flow of that position, what it takes when that's not your sole responsibility, knowing information that your students know by virtue of their position that other people in the institution may not know, and how do you maintain that confidentiality to build that student trust? I think for students, it's a different story. It's a little bit of the same, but I think for our student leaders, it's truthfully about the ability to network and to learn the art of networking. No one teaches us that, and I think the conference really provides, with Connect, Commit, and Serve, those 3 points, really provides an opportunity for students to learn how to network, for them to get ideas from one another, and for them to get the real ideas. Honestly, because it's the one that's solely focused on student government. From the presenters, each of us have a different flair, and we bring something different to the table. I think that the focus, though, the one common thread that blends us all together is that we want our students who are in student government to be the best in the nation, and we're committed to that. Some of us come from a higher education background, some of us come from a background of public speaking and presenting across the country, and we all, though, have this one bond of student government, whether that's through advisement or through having participated as a student leader. So I think that provides a unique forum, and truly And truthfully, ASGA is committed to connecting students to one another, to connecting student advisors to one another, for the commitment of being able to serve their students back on their home campuses.